here we go. It's P.M.P. and it is after Hibs 0, the team that will be a wee bit better than Rangers come the end of the season, FC 0. Bit disappointing, Terry. We're going to get into the reasons why it happened. I think there's many aspects to this. At the end of the day, we didn't lose either, so I want to keep it relatively balanced with that in mind. We're going to do all that good stuff and get stuck into it all. I want your thoughts, Terry, on the game itself, and then obviously the greater, the grander scheme of things, etc. We'll talk about squad competition, the substitutes that came on, the recruitment. We'll keep going back to, because we're always going to keep our eyes on this board, on the bus, and of course we can look at the actual game itself. That's what I'm saying at the start there, and why the performance was so under par. All that good stuff means give us a wee share, give us a like, slag the hair. If you want to subscribe, do it. Hit the subscribe button now. It's completely free. There is a bell button as well. Piesports.com, bus 1888 will get you 12.5% off at the checkout. And if you want to become a Bhoycie Bus member, like so many you have, it's $1.99 a month, totally optional. Right, done all that. Terry, fucking hell, your face is I've never seen an expression so 0-0 in all my life. If I hadn't watched the game and I just looked at you, Terry, and you said, guess the score, I'd have said, that's the face of 0-0. Talk to me, mate.
Well, my notes page has got absolutely fucking nothing written on it, so there's no point in me having that. Totally. I don't even know where to start, boys. There's just nothing to say. There was absolutely nothing. There was nothing in the game. It was complete empty jersey performance by vast majority of that team. No energy, no enthusiasm, no drive, no intensity. Last 7 or 8 minutes, yes, we had a go, but I don't know. I'm completely lost for words. I mean, it's an unacceptable performance in my book, and yeah, I might be wetting the bed a bit, but if I go into my work and I turn in a shift like that, I'm hauled in the next day with a very uncomfortable conversation, and I don't know which words to use. I just thought it was absolutely disgusting for a Celtic team, right down from everyone, manager, coaching staff, club. If anyone thinks that any aspect of that game was acceptable, I can tell them they're fucking seriously wrong.
Well, this is it. I mean, one of the things with the display was I thought it was inevitable that there might be a drop-off from the midweek. I think we all accept that. When Celtic have Champions League exertions against top-tier teams, naturally at the weekend there could be a slight drop-off. Therefore, you make and implement changes to that squad. So it's not a whole collective's dropped off. That whole team, well, it was the exact same team that played obviously against Atletico, because Bernardo came on so early for Atati.
I couldn't believe it when the teams came out and we were seeing...
It's a damning indictment in the options.
Well, there's two sides to it, because the manager did say before the Hearts game, so that's 3 games in a week, before the Hearts game, he did say that with 21 games in 7 days, there would be rotation. Now, if ever there was a day to rotate, it would be after you just had a second half chasing from Atletico Madrid on Wednesday night. So I was very, very surprised to see no changes if we take into account that Bernardo played the vast majority of the game on Wednesday night. However, I suppose the counter argument to that is when you look at the options and the guys that did come on, how could you have started the game with Mikey Johnson and James Forrest
I knew this was going to happen, Terry. I knew this was going to happen, right? We already are doing exactly what I thought. I'm in the same boat as you, by the way, pal, for a change. But I genuinely, I'm looking at the option thing going, what the fuck did we get here? There was a wee message that came in. We'll go to the comments as well throughout the show, by the way, as always. David Kelly's saying there, look, we spent $2.5 million on home, 2 million on Jan, 3 million like a Bielka, 2 million on O. See if these guys cannot start an SPFL game against a bottom 6 side, then get them punted. Now,
nailed it. He's nailed it, Bhoycie. He's absolutely nailed it.
These guys have got to be if they're project players, surely part of their development whilst they're going through said project at Celtic is to step in at domestic level when we have a few rotations required, whether it be through injuries, suspensions, or a bit of fatigue from a midweek European game. This is what these guys have to be able to step up to in order for the project to be realised.
Exactly.
Or there is no project.
We weren't asking these guys to play against Atletico Madrid. We're asking these guys to go in and re-energise on a Saturday after a Champions League game. And Hibs didn't have any £2.5 million midfielders, £2 million wingers, £2 million centre forwards. Where are these guys? Lagerbielke was on the bench during the week, nowhere to be seen today. Home? Where's he gone? I'm not aware of any injury. Does Tilio even exist? Quan will never play for Celtic again. The amount of players we signed over the summer, and we don't have players who are good enough to come in and get the job done against a very, very poor Hibs team. If we were sitting here, Bhoycie, and Hibs had played really, really well and the game ended a draw, I wouldn't have a problem with that. But Hibs were absolutely terrible as well. It was just a horrible, horrible game to watch. It's 2 hours of our lives we'll never, ever get back again. And my first thought was around the empty seats in the stadium and just how depressing it is that any of these teams can't fill their ground for Celtic coming to town. But by the end of the game, I was thinking the people that didn't turn up probably had a better afternoon than the ones who did and the ones who watched it on TV.
There's 30 quid, mate. It's definitely sitting purring away in their back pockets right now going, that is money saved, mate. Definitely.
Unreal.
It was frustrating, I think, when you look at the starting lineup and you've seen it was, as you say, the exact same as the team that played against Atletico, albeit I know Bernardo didn't start, but he may as well have played the full game, right? That is damning on the options available. Then we look in-game. How do we change this about? Blue in the face, green in the face, whatever you prefer. Talking about the upfront options. There's nothing if Kyogo's not at it. There's no support role. No one's even fancied to partner Kyogo at any point. Or his managers at Celtic now just incapable of playing two strikers. They'll shit the bed now at that. I mean, it's not a lot to be asking for. What I would be seeing, or thought I would be seeing, is when you've got a guy like Kyogo who's been there at the club for over 2 years. I would like to think that, maybe he's seen off competition. Many look up and they think of Giacomax. He's seen him off. I would like to think that we would have been able, in 2.5 years of Kyogo, to have been able to bring in a player of a similar standard, if not equally as good, but if not, slight drop-off, nearly like for like, and have the ability to keep them both happy at the club. If that means playing two up top at times, if that means paying more money to these guys, and everyone seems to think players want to leave because they're just desperate to play first-team football. If you pay them a proper wage, they'll stay. They understand it's a squad game now in every league, Terry. And that's the area for me I cannot get over. O comes on today. Oh, fucking hell, no wonder he's not been fancied this season. He's never, ever going to make it, in my opinion, at Celtic. I do not see it. I just don't. I don't think he's a Rodgers-type player. I think Welsh Rodgers is there as well. It won't be his. But then we get to the problem. Who's to blame here? Because when Celtic have signed £5 million players, etc., Terry, like Ayeti, these get Barkas, they go, well, look, did that not work? And you go, well, it might not have worked, but again, who was in charge of identifying them and buying them? The 2-3 million ones, to me, it's almost like pinning the tail on the donkey. I feel now it's just a case of spend 2 million and on 4 or 5 players. No one's heard of them. No one thinks they improve the first team right now. But the chances are 1 out of the 5 will punt on for 15 million because they'll just happen to come up trumps with it. It's fucking bizarre. But up front, I want to focus on how long, Terry, can we go with just Kyogo up top? How long are we going to accept a Celtic team, a Celtic squad, that only has one recognised first-team striker? That is blatantly staring you in the fucking face that we have been the squad has been underfunded, undersupported. Because at no point in my Celtic supporting life I've ever seen a Celtic squad, Terry, with just one first-name striker and a second one who, I don't know, is Tommy Johnson levels. You know what I mean? It just ain't happening, mate. That isn't on for me. And I think is another example staring you in the face that the board just be better than Rangers and we'll get by okay.
In answer to your question, Bhoycie, I think we'll only have to suffer it for another 2 months. If Rodgers doesn't bring in a striker in January, I'd be very, very surprised. But Brendan doesn't get away with. He's not absolved today either. By the way, he's
totally agree.
You know, do you know what I mean? We've praised him. We've praised his in-game management. I didn't see that today. I didn't see something fresh when we've done the same thing for 80 minutes, and at no point in those 80 minutes did we look like breaking Hibs down and scoring. But the best he could come up with was bring on Mikey Johnson and let him run the ball into the crowd 2 or 3 times. Bring on James Forrest. There was no imagination. What was wrong with and Kyogo? Kyogo hadn't done anything, but we've talked about this before. If he gets his goal, we're happy with that. But when he doesn't get his goal, you're then going, geez, he had absolutely no involvement in that game at all. But he's still our best option of a goal. Where was the imagination? Where was something from the manager to say, do you know what? It ain't working today, but I'm an elite level manager. I'm going to mix it up a little bit. I'm going to throw a curveball here. We went to 3-5-2 on Wednesday night. What was wrong with trying that again today? Putting a second striker up and trying something different, because what we were doing clearly wasn't working. And although we made changes, we just kept doing the same thing in the same formation. And you know, you want to see the manager taking control in that situation when so many players are having a bad day. You want him to come up with something to get the job done. And yeah, he's not going to be able to do it every single time, but
talk to me about the strikers then. I want your opinion on that though. How under you know, what's the phrase I'm trying to go? But there's understaffed, for want of a better way of putting it, the upfront department is, because there's just fucking no options for them if there's no.
I'll be honest.
There's no queue.
I'll be honest. I thought we would have enough with Kyogo, Maeda, and O. Simply in terms of numbers, I think there's enough there.
I didn't.
But in terms of numbers, I think 3 is enough. I don't think we need 4 strikers. However, I think we need 3 quality strikers, and that's probably where the difference is. And there's times when O has done things, and we've sat and we thought, yeah, do you know what? You can see there is a little bit of potential there, but there's just so many times where you just look and go, who on earth pulled this guy out of the hat? And go back to what you were saying about the transfer fees there and stuff. Like, whoever watched Ajeti, if anyone indeed watched him and decided he was worth 5 million quid of our money, I don't know. Same with Burnaby. Whoever watched this guy, I don't think we've watched these people at all. I think we've just got sources, and somebody somewhere thinks if one of these sources says, I've got a cracker here, you need to come in and take him quickly before somebody in the EPL takes him, somebody just writes a check. And any person, any scout worth his salt who watched any of those players, and they just couldn't have decided those players would have been worth the money that we paid for them. In terms of this squad, Bhoycie, we've looked at the players there that we as fans, we can make snap judgments, but I think Quan's gone. So one summer signing's gone already. Will we ever see Tilio? Who knows? Home, I don't know what's happened. He had that red card. He obviously can't play in the European games. Is he injured? I'm not sure. Burnaby's gone. Will never feature for Rodgers again unless there's an issue at left back. Bernardo, he got some good reviews during the week. My honest opinion, neat and tidy. Has he shown anything so far to make me think he's going to be a mainstay for Celtic? No. Is it too early for me to write him off? Yeah, probably. He hasn't had enough.
I agree.
However, the fact that he was the guy that came on Wednesday night, even though he'd never actually started a game for the club, that's absolutely damning for David Turnbull. So I reckon Turnbull's gone, given that he's got 6 months left on a contract, 6-7 months. Yep. He's out of contract. He'll probably sign a Bosman in January. I don't see any scenario where he'll want to stay, where he's not getting regular game time, or the club will want to keep someone who the manager probably doesn't rate. But that is a lot of players that we have brought in or have got that we probably don't see a future for. And it just goes back to that summer transfer window where we just ended up, what do we say, 9 players in that window. Whatever we add on from the January window, 2 or 3, 12 players. And what have you actually got that's in your first team making it better? Very, very, very little. Very little indeed. But listen, it's one game, Bhoycie. We'll probably come out on Wednesday night. We'll play well again. We'll get the points. And today will be forgotten. It's just frustrating. I was looking forward to today's game. I thought we were very, very good against Hearts last week. I thought we were very, very good during the week against a very, very good side. But then that today just knocks you back a wee bit. And when you look at it in a cold light of day with 3 games in a week,
that's what I was going to do next. That's exactly what I was going to do next.
We only took half the points available to us in those 3 games, which is very, very disappointing when you consider how well we played in 2 of those matches.
Is there a debate, though, to say we need to then look at what those matches consisted of? And that's 2 trips to Edinburgh, Tynecastle and Easter Road. Sandwiched in between that was Atletico Madrid. And we've not won, at home in the Champions League. And, I don't even want to know how long. It's
Bhoycie, as well, though, it must be, and this isn't a defence, but it must be very, very hard for those players standing there with the Champions League music playing on Wednesday night, 60,000 crowd, hair standing on the back of your neck and playing to the level that we did, and then having to rock up to an empty Easter Road on a Saturday in poor conditions. It must be hard to keep that going. But that is what playing for Celtic is about. That is the juxtaposition of you've these big games in the Champions League, then you've got your bread and butter at the weekend, and you have to be able to adapt from one to the other. And if you had a few players today who dropped short of their normal level, then you could go, yeah, do you know what? Bit of a drop off. But for so many of them, I mean, Hart had nothing to do.
But this, though, Terry, is because it's all 11 of them are doing it again. That is why the drop-off occurs, mate. It's a collective.
Probably.
See if there's 1 or 2 fresh legs in there that are bringing like-for-like quality, Terry. I'm not talking about a million miles away drop-off just because they're fresh. The squad should be of a strength where 3 changes were made today. We don't know it's a big drop-off in terms of the quality in the park, but it gives you that injection of fitness, sharpness, intensity, and then you don't notice as much if maybe some of the squad started the game at 90% fit or whatever you want to call it, right? I think that's where it's looking more and more glaring. So if you're looking for the answer to that, what I would say to counter it would be, I think it's because it was all 11. Loopy just gave him a comment there.
I think you're right. I mean,
which I agree with.
I expected Yang to play today. I thought Maeda or Palma would have sat out and Yang would have got a game. But the fact he didn't actually come on at any point when we brought on 2 other wingers who have been at the club for 100 years, what's the point of bringing Yang in? What's the point of signing him if he's not able to come in and freshen things up on a Saturday game? I don't know. Look, see the game today, though, Bhoycie. Joe Hart had nothing to do. That shows you how good he were. He had nothing to do. Alistair Johnson, I hope he's okay. He wasn't on long enough.
I didn't like that.
That was bad. That was a bad knock.
Yeah, it was.
He's obviously as brave as a lion, and he's tried to play on. Then he's clearly got some level of concussion where he's gone, right, hang on, do you know what?
I think that should be getting identified and that decision taken out his hands. I thought that was the way it is now, though. No,
it's difficult. I thought it was just completely flush in the face, but yeah, it's an awkward one because nowadays you don't want, you don't take any risks with players and things like that.
But because we see the effects after, like later in life now, we've got that evidence. I think Big City's obviously a massive sort of vocalist about the injury the ball can do. I think when you get hit it flush in the tempo, I think they were the side of the head. It's like fucking hell. I think you just go take him off. But hopefully carry on. Sorry, hopefully
he's okay.
Yes.
But the point I was trying to make was Hart nothing to do. CCV, nothing to do. Scales, nothing to do. Taylor probably continued where he left off on Wednesday night, in my opinion. McGregor, poor. O'Reilly, the man who you've been relying on, we've been waxing lyrical about, nothing today. Bernardo, neat and tidy, nothing really, nothing of any note. Palma, poor. Kyogo, poor. Maeda, poor. Ralston, when he came on, poor.
Yeah, that fresh legs. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was an odd one. But see, when we look at these 3 games, if you said you get 4 out of 6 in the away trips, and we've looked at this last week as well, Terry, he's navigated the trickiest 6 away ties now. He's took, 16 points out of 18 in those away fixtures? That ain't bad. That ain't all that bad, mate. Do you know what I mean? It's a difficult one. And then obviously you've got the Champions League fixtures. So far we've played 3 as well, sprinkled in between there.
See, if you step back from it, Bhoycie, I get the point you're making. If you step back from it, you look at the away games we've played.
Yeah.
If that volume of points had been gained in a slightly different way, you'd have been going, yeah, that's brilliant. So say, for example, we got a point at Ibrox and we won all the rest of them. You'd be going, well, hell, that was brilliant. That's a great.
Very well, very well put. I like that. Terry.
The actual points tally is good, really, really good. It's just that we've got the points from harder games than that one today. That one was there for the taking. I think they're a very, very average side. But like I say, in a few weeks we'll not be talking about this game. We'll be back on track again. I probably feel as if we've just breathed a little tiny bit of life into a title race when the button was about to be pressed to switch it off. But we'll see. I don't think this is going to derail Celtic's season in any way, shape, or form. I think it's just one of those days. It's a bit like the game at Kilmarnock. It felt a bit like the game against St Johnstone, the home game, which was 0-0. Just a wee bit worrying. That St Johnstone game, we created absolutely nothing. Today, we created absolutely nothing. I know Forrest hit the bar at the end when it was probably... I felt it was easier to score, but it's just some of those games, Bhoycie, the games that we have dropped points in domestically. The alarming bit's not dropping the points for me. The alarming bit is just the complete lack of creativity and creating of chances. Like, there was nothing today. There was absolutely nothing. There was one sort of half chance where Bernardo took a heavy touch and the ball went into David Marshall and it fell to Maeda and Marshall made a good save. But if you think of Celtic games in the past where we've just been going at the opposition non-stop for 90 minutes, creating chance after chance after chance, the ball's deflecting off people, it's goalkeepers having the worldie. Like that goalkeeper today, David Marshall, I don't know why, is he 40 or something? Like, other than 1 or 2 sort of saves that he had to make, he had a very, very quiet afternoon. That's the concern for me, is how little we created. Not the fact we dropped the points, but we just had no imagination in the final third whatsoever.
It was the type of performance that when we don't get anything from, the same reasons for it, I think, are going to happen all season, right? I think we'll be having the same conversations. There's going to be a large section of the sport that will instantly go recruitment, bold, players brought in, and there'll be a large section of the fans that go, never wanted Rodgers, turgid, slow, boring. And I think this is going to be like what we revert back to every time there's a result that we maybe don't like too much.
We're allowed to do that. We're fans. We can do it.
I get it, mate. Of course. I'm not against it at all. I totally understand that. But again, no, just to prove the point, I mean, today we were all of those things, though, in terms of the tempo. It wasn't there. The intensity, wanting to have a wee bit of imagination on the ball. There was no bravery, I didn't really feel, with the pass, and everything's just a wee bit too safe. Again, I think I've said these quotes already this season, and I'll probably say them again.
Sorry.
You still there, Tony? You just a wee bit of your own, pal.
Well, I thought I froze or something there.
I think you were just like playing Football Manager in the background there, mate. I was like, fucking hell.
No, I'm not. I like these post match that we do, Bhoycie. Like,
He's not a clue what I just said, does he?
I
He's
do,
away in his
I
own
do.
wee fucking
No, I
world.
do. There's probably about three. There's probably about three variations of these post-match conversations that you and I have, and there's the European one where we played really well, but it was a hard luck story at the end. Then you've got the totally and utterly dominant performances, and we played well, and we're absolute world beaters, and the world's great. And then you've got this kind of one today where we're absolutely shite, and we're looking for, as you say, we're annoyed with the board, we're annoyed with the manager, we're annoyed with the team, the recruitment's been bad, and you could just roll out whichever one of these. You could roll out a recording from any time over the last couple of years, depending on which one of the three categories said match falls into.
That is actually what we do. You've already watched this episode of the Bhoycie Bus.
No, it's not, because
me and Terry are in the pub.
if it is, you would have put one on Wednesday night instead of falling asleep on your couch when you had 100 people sitting waiting on you in the live chat. On up to it.
I don't think that's quite. I don't think that's quite the narrative I was wanting to put out there, Terry. But yep, I was. Listen, mate, Pam's right. She's like, this is going to turn into the Bobo Baldi episode all over again. If this really is on a loop, you better watch out, boy. No, I'm only kidding. I wonder, though, whilst there's these same conversations, same sort of dialogues always happening with regards to a negative result, what is it that we can do to change that? And what can the team do differently, Terry? How do we approach these games differently? Why is it that maybe something's not been working for as long as it has today? Maybe it is time to go a more, I don't know whether it's a more direct style football. I'm not a tactician, right? But the formation didn't seem to change at any point today. No. The message didn't seem to change at any point today. And I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to, sort of dissect that and find out why. We're Celtic fans that are extremely passionate about the team. We don't kid on that Celtic will ever be something that's a perfect form. Do you know what I mean in terms of the actual football team in the park? But I think when you look at, when you're watching a game for 90 minutes, sometimes you feel a wee bit patronising, Terry, because you're looking at it going, well, wait the fucking now here. Surely you've got to change it up a bit here. And then, of course, the question any football-minded person could turn around and say to me, well, what would you do? And you're like, well, fuck, I don't fucking know.
I know.
Which is true.
If he changes it up and we draw or lose the game, then everybody's going, why'd you make so many changes? However, would it have been too big an ask to just freshen it up a little tiny bit? What about Carter Vickers and Phillips partnership at centre-back and Scales at left-back, and give Taylor a bit of time out to reflect on his performance on Wednesday night? As you say, just a couple of little subtle changes or something just to freshen it up, just to change it, just to breathe a little bit of life into it a little bit. Honestly, I couldn't believe when I seen the same lineup. The other side of it, as I say, is he goes in there, he makes changes, we play shite, then we're sitting here going, he made too many changes. I can't believe he made all those changes. Why did he make those changes? He knows those players aren't good enough. Do you know what I mean?
I think that's true as well. That's the fourth type of conversation that we have, Terry. That's just we're just on a constant loop on the bus. But do you think ever? I don't want to get too conspiracy theory here, but fuck it. Saturday afternoon, why not? Do you ever think to yourself, sometimes Rodgers does things to almost get his message across? Now, I've always been concerned about Brendan Light, Rodgers Light, whatever you want to call it, right? But Leopard never changes the spots too much. And if this is the same old, what was being described as narcissist that was there before and things like this, who was, and there's bodies of evidence for it, video clips you could put together in 2 seconds of him having wee pops at the board before, is he doing it sometimes with these subs, almost to flag it, to highlight it, to let the fans do that message for him, to let it go, well, look, if James Forrest is the answer against Atletico Madrid, you tell me if you think my squad's strong enough, guys. Stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? I just wonder, well, you've just said there, Surely one of these guys could have came in, freshened up a bit. What if in his mind he goes, I'm proving a point here. I'm doing it because I don't think they will be in the long term up to the job. So why the fuck would I put them in now? Is he trying to get a message across at any point in time? Is that just too conspiracy theory like?
I see where you're going with it, but I'm not buying into it, because then he can't turn around and say that he's happy with the signing policy at the club. And he did say he was happy with it. He said he was happy for the club to go and bring in the players that they bring in, and it's his job to coach them. So by that, then, if those players aren't able to come on and play today, then he hasn't been able to coach them. He said he's happy with that approach.
That would be a surprise. That would be a surprise.
I mean, then his coaching
CV is pretty good.
The buck stops with the manager. Do you know what I mean? If the results go wrong, managers get sacked. It's not the guy, the data analyst in the office who puts forward a player based on stats. It's not the scout that goes and watches a game in Eastern Europe.
Let's look at what you're saying though. So if he's not been able to coach them, that means they weren't good enough. Therefore, was he too on message with the board? Was he too Brendan Light again then in the summer? And now he's finding his poise, finding his swagger again. If that's the case, are we now seeing a guy that's going to go, I'm going to be fucking ruthless here? And the guys above need to know that what they've brought me in ain't fucking good enough. That's why you'll not get a Lagerbielke on the bench today. That's why Holmes fell off the face of the earth. Is that what he's doing? Is that what's going to take to get the message across? Rather than, I think with as much as I've been a massive sort of Brendan apologist, if you like, for his previous departure and things like this, some of the stuff he did in that first term were a bit catty to be doing it in the media. Now, maybe that was his last resort and he had to. I don't know. But when he was saying things like, Terminado, it's like even using it like that, it's like just, if that was Strachan saying that, he'd have got fucking pelters at the time for it. Do you know what I mean? So I just think this summer he was just being too nicey. Just a wee bit too, in with everything that was on message with Celtics. I'm back and I just want everyone to like me. And now we'll find out come January, and particularly next summer, just how much he is really back in the same sort of mould that he was in the previous tenure.
Okay, so what happens then? What happens January in the summer if this is his message that these 9 players that you guys have brought in for me are not good enough? What happens in January? What happens in the summer? We've invested in these guys. We've given out 4 and 5 year contracts to quite a lot of these individuals. What happens next?
That's not a manager's problem, Terry.
But it's your problem, because I'm asking you right now.
What
happens next?
I'm definitely not the manager. I don't know. I'm a bit torn on it, because see if we actually look at what we did with key first team players like Giakoumakis, we were happy to take like for like money, and we didn't make anything on him. We include his wages, signing on fee. He was probably at slight expense to us, albeit the goal returns, etc., would have been worth a fortune in terms of what they contributed to Champions League group stage football and stuff like that. But eventually you've got to cut your losses. You've got to go. Like a Quan, for example, that contract could be torn up tomorrow. Nobody cares, mate. But it's 600 grand down the tubes, whatever it'll be to pay up his contract, £1 million. I'm just wildly making up numbers now. But you can't do that throughout. I take your point. Would there be suitors for these guys? I think the level that those suitors would be at would mean no transfer fee, if not a very minimal one, for the guys you want to offload. But that would then mean we're creating a rod for our own back. And there's only one way to break the cycle. And that would mean radical change, not just hanging on to them because, well, we're not getting anything for them. What we're going to do? And that's not me trying to be too knee-jerk to players I've not actually seen all that much of. I'm kind of just trusting the manager's judgment that what he's seen on a day-to-day basis so far is nowhere near good enough.
It's like I've said a few times, you look at some of these guys and the first thing you're looking for is basic attributes of a professional footballer. And there's a few that we haven't seen that. I know we pick on Quan. We haven't seen a lot of Quan. There might actually be a player in there, but
Is there? Fuck. I
based on
know.
what we've seen,
That's the one I'm going to say. No, there's no.
based on what we've seen,
No.
there's nothing to suggest that there is. Go back to Bernardo. You can see he's got the attributes of a professional footballer. Is he going to be a world beater? My gut feel is no, but he may well be. Palma, you can see that he's got qualities. He deserves to be a professional footballer. Is he different from Jota? Absolutely. He doesn't have that burst of pace. He doesn't have that skill to go by men in the same way, but he does have an ability to get the ball and have a tunnel vision to go for goal. He does have the vision. He played a good pass today from left side to right side. It was right across the full width of the pitch. He played a lovely ball, and he loves that little. It's almost like a golfer with a 45-degree wedge. You know, that little clip he does over the defender and it drops down. He loves that. But you can see with Palma, there's something there. There's other players that we've brought in, and you're going, has anyone actually watched this guy play football? And if they have, why have they decided to spend our money on these people? Bhoycie, there's players there that are, it's hard to get your head around. So last week against Hearts, we brought on Iwata, and we have not seen much of this guy. Now, pre-season, when we were with players injured and there were internationals and all that kind of thing going on, Iwata played a lot of the pre-season games, albeit he played them at right back, but he filled in. And he came with quite a good reputation. And out of all, there was sources close to the club or people with inside info or claiming to have inside info that were saying that the club had really high expectations of Iwata and felt that he could actually be the best of the Japanese contingent. He was Japanese most valuable player in the league the year before. We've seen him play little fleeting cameo appearances, and probably similar to Bernardo, you can see he's got ability. You can see he's got the attributes of a professional footballer. He came on last week and scored a really, really good goal, a really good finish. What do you think the deal is with this guy? Why have we not seen more of Tomoki Iwata? Why has he not been getting a game under the previous manager and this manager?
Well, Lupe suggests that he must have run over Brendan's cat, which...
Well, then he must have run over Ange's as well.
Yeah. Well, the Iwata one's interesting because I do think there's an argument to be had that the settling in period when you come from over there may well have been get them in January, then they're ready to go for the summer and the new season. That's what we get told at the time.
That's the one I like. I like to roll that out as well.
Yeah, we all do, mate. Usually if they've not been getting loads of game time between January and May, then we've actually written them off ourselves by the summer. Which shows how much nonsense we all talk. Two managers, I agree. Doesn't seem to get into the team. There's opportunity there. Should be opportunity there because today would have been a case in point. If you've scored last week at Tynecastle, we know how much effort and how much exhaustion the players would have been carrying from Wednesday. I appreciate, by the way, in the comments, some are saying they're athletes and things like this. I get that, but it's just natural. When you have a massive game on a Wednesday, come the Saturday, one or two changes is good for the team because there'll be a collective drop-off that'll be minimal, but when all combined times 11 players can be very noticeable. Iwata, I would have thought, would have been someone he'd have been considering for today, especially with his confidence peaking from that brilliant goal at Tynecastle the week before. Again, that's a curious one. I don't have an answer for that, to be honest.
And he's looked okay. There's never been a game where you've turned around and gone, he was crap. He's one of those ones. He's neat and tidy, efficient, recycles the ball, keeps possession. I don't remember him doing very much wrong. I think there was one game, I don't know if it was pre-season or if it was in the league. There was one game where him and Ralston sort of got a wee bit confused together. I can't even remember what game that was, but he hasn't done a great deal wrong. But then you see Bernardo now seems somehow to be ahead of him. without actually ever doing really anything. And
Well, we need to be fair though, because he did well Wednesday. I just
Bernardo,
thought today.
I was just
thought
surprised he came on Wednesday. I was surprised he was the one that we
he's the
decided
one who's
to put
jumped the
on.
queue. Yeah,
Aye,
that's
he'd
fair.
never started. He'd never started a game, whereas Turnbull has started loads of games for Celtic. Iwata has started some. If Bernardo wasn't good enough to actually start for us since he signed, how was he then good enough to be the first sub to come on after 5 minutes in a Champions League game against Atletico Madrid? I just don't. I don't get the thinking there. So that's why I think Turnbull must be off ski, because I thought on Wednesday night, if I was thinking of who would be head of the queue based on what they've done already, it probably was Turnbull. And I know he's not everyone's cup of tea, but I would have thought he would have been the natural one to bring on for Hatate on Wednesday. But Bernardo then seemed to be elevated from someone who hasn't shown enough to start a game to you're top of the queue, you're the next guy to go on. And it's annoying, Bhoycie, because I think although Hatate was a little bit slow getting back into stride again, I think the upturn in our performances over the last 2, 3, 4 weeks coincided with him getting back to being fit again, being in the first team, and that midfield three, which looked untouchable, of O'Reilly, McGregor and Hatate. And as neat and tidy as Bernardo may look, I felt probably the one that we missed today was just the energy of Hatate and the willingness to take risks and try the risky pass, try to make something happen rather than the safe option all the time. Too many people today were playing the safe option, the 5-yard pass, back to Scales or Carter Vickers into McGregor, and that neat and tidy passing, which looks lovely, but when you draw 0-0, you're then going, what the fuck was that all about?
Hatate, do you know what though, Terry, I want to just quickly, just whilst it's fresh in my mind, the narrative on Hatate right now seems to be, not everyone, but a section of fans have seen it more than once, if that counts to a lot. But I've seen a lot of people, no, I'm lying now, I've seen a few, suggesting that he gives the ball away a lot. Now, if you're trying for high-risk passes, you're going to they're not all going to come off as much as someone. People love to do this with stats. This is why fucking stats can be.
Karl Starfeld's passing accuracy.
90%.
99.99%.
Yeah, exactly, mate.
2-yard passes. 2-yard passes backwards.
No, you're spot on. No, exactly, mate. I cannot agree more with you on that one. That's absolutely spot on. It's totally fair. So we need to give Footlick Hatate a bit of a break, I think. Like, if for those who are, thinking he gives the ball away and not as good, we need guys that are going to take risks, because it's quite obvious when he's not there. That is maybe one aspect of this team. Albeit Palmer today, I thought he got his options wrong at times, but he's thinking of trying things. You know what I mean? He's trying to do something, make something happen, albeit his final execution at times today, sadly, was lacking, or his decision making maybe wasn't as full of clarity that I was talking about on Thursday.
We were talking about Yang, and he hasn't set the hell on fire. But what I did like about Yang was every time he got the ball, he got his head up and he was trying to go forward. He was trying to make things happen.
Commit defenders as well. Committing defenders, because he is.
It's very, very easy. It's very, very, very easy to take the safe option, as I keep saying, playing it into McGregor, Carter Vickers, Scales, just playing the ball into those guys and letting them recycle it. But Yang, and even when things weren't working for them, which they haven't done in some of his appearances, every time he gets it, he's still trying to make things happen. And I see that in Palma as well. You see it in Hatate. But as a result, they are going to be the guys that give the ball away the most, because they're the guys that are trying to actually do something and create something.
I think that's spot on. Why do you think, though? I mean, and I totally get this point that's came in for your ma. I don't know if it's your ma, Terry, whether it's my ma, depends who's saying it, I suppose. But your ma says that's when you expect Cal McGregor, who sees more of the ball than anybody, to influence the game. Too many times his passes are easy passes sidewards or backwards. Cal Mac's going to be an interesting one this season. Calmac is judged, though, remember, to a very, very high standard, I think. And that's a rod he's created for his own back by being fucking brilliant. Let's get it right. So when games are tight like that, could we see more imagination, some more sort of inspiration? Because we've seen it before with Cal McGregor. I always go back to that Ibrox game in Angie's first season where we were literally on the ropes in the first round. You know, it was, we were getting blittered. We couldn't pass a ball. And he did just try something a wee bit out of the ordinary. He tried to dribble the ball from the halfway line to the byline. And he did it very successfully. In fact, it led to a goal. Whether it had led to a goal or not, he shifted the whole mood of that game and reminded the opposition who they were up against and inspired confidence around them by doing something like that. Because it was like, holy fuck, oh, I forgot we could play football. He didn't do that today, did he? He didn't do anything like that today.
No, he's the manager on the pitch. So going back to what I said previously, you're looking at the manager thinking, come on, do something here, pull it out of the bag for us. The captain's the manager on the pitch. And yeah, I think he was taking safe options. Cal McGregor, he was getting the ball, he was recycling it, which I make it sound as if that's easy, and it's not easy. And some of the players that perform that skill, and they do, it's not easy. It's not easy for those little short passes to be accurate all the time. You have to be a very, very skilled football player to do that. However, McGregor, you're looking for him just to grab the game by the scruff of the neck. And even if it's not him grabbing the ball and running 40 yards with it and trying to make something happen, you just want him going and grabbing other players and trying to maybe O'Reilly or something, just going and grabbing and says, right, man, fucking let's do something different here. Let's change the way we're doing it here. Let's try and make something happen. There was just nothing. We just seemed to have been down a dark alley. First 80 minutes, nothing worked. We didn't try anything different. We just kept trying the same things that weren't working. Nobody seemed to want to take the game by the scruff of the neck. Nobody seemed to want to stand up and be the player that tried something different. Last 10 minutes, if we played the full game the way we played the last 10 minutes, I think we'd have won 4 or 5-0 because we created our only real chances in the game in that period. But by that time, it was too late. It was too late. And I think the fact that we were able to up it in the last 10 minutes begs the question, why did we not play like that from the start? Here, Bhoycie, when you hear this, you know it's annoying. Do you remember?
For those listening on audio, the audio download, the Wailing Banshees has just came in. I've never seen the Wailing Banshees comment on the channel ever before, but they've came in and they've said, couple of more results like this, and Terry will be on the Glens.
Well, the Glens is one of the official sponsors of the SPL.
SPFL. Yes. So if you're watching Glens, me and Terry will be more than happy for a tasty checkout discount like we've got with buysports.com.
Awesome. Do you remember I got the Bhoycie Bus labelled on my vodka so that every time I poured it, you could see the Bhoycie Bus on it, right? So the bottle, obviously, I wanted to keep using the same bottle because it had got the personalised label on it. But Wendy seen the bottle sitting and there was nothing in it. She fucked it into the bin, right? So I goes to her, where's my Bhoycie Bus vodka bottle? I goes out and looks in the bin. It's down at the bottom of the bin, so I had to clear everything out, got it out of the bin. I said, don't throw the empty bottle out. Why not? Because that's my label on it for the Bhoycie Bus. So that's all right. Fills it up again. So I kept refilling the same bottle. She fucking threw it out again the week after. The bins came and took it. So I don't have it anymore.
Oh, brilliant. That is brilliant, Edward, the spirit of Scottish football. Oh, I like it. Do you know what, Terry? It's been a while, right? Since we're having a wee bit of a laugh, it's a disappointing result today. What we'll do is a wee competition, right? We'll do a kebab giveaway. A kebab giveaway can happen tonight, right? All we'll do it is, I want to see the lowest drink. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you could resort to having a drink the best idea for Terry, if we keep inputting performances at this today, the best suggestion that Terry likes the most, we will give out a kebab. I will just send me your address to my email address. I'll put it up once we've done the competition, and I will get you a big kebab on me. Why not?
I've got my last Donny defrosting at the minute. That whole big order of 50 odd that I got, we're down to the last one.
I remember that.
Down to the last one. So that'll be getting consumed around about midnight tonight, I would say.
Well, the suggestions coming in already. Frosty Jacks and blackcurrant. I like that. The blackcurrant getting added just to kid on you're not drinking Frosty Jacks. Pernod and blackcurrant. Oh.
I don't like that. That's a Bloody Mary, do you call that? That's what you call
that.
You're a Bloody Mary. Pernod and blackcurrant. No?
What are you talking about? It's vodka and tomato juice, you Raj.
Okay, is it?
What?
I don't know.
You're mad.
I don't know.
Super lager. Did you get that over there?
Super lager, like super tea. Tenants, super.
Yeah.
9%.
Yeah.
What about White Lightning? Have you ever drank that? I used to drink that. Jesus, that was rough. Huh?
Oh, wow.
That would make a man off your White Lightning.
A chocolate milk and buckfast. Jesus. Did you get that over there, Mad Dog 2020?
I don't know, Bhoycie, because I see nowadays I just drink for beer. I go the Rock Shore, then obviously I like the Guinness and then the vodka. But see, other than that, I would never look at anything else. I never try anything new. Like I like the things that I like.
Well, that's fair enough as well. It's not. I think people overcomplicate drink sometimes as well. I'm 100% there.
Like, just stick with it. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I'm there for the effects. I just drink for the effects. A couple other ones coming in. Baby Sham. I don't know if Jared Mullen's just saying what he's watching on the telly. I don't know what the fuck it was. Thunderbird.
Thunderbird is a drink. Like,
what is it?
I don't know. Blue Wicked.
Blue Wicked. Fucking hell. English bitter.
You know, I've never drank Bhoycie in my life. I've never drank a glass of wine, and I've never drank a glass of champagne. Just never appealed to me.
Why could it not appeal to you if you've never fucking drank one?
Do you know what it's like? But I don't like strawberries, but I've never tried one. I don't like turnip. I've never tried it. I don't like cabbage. I've never tried it. There's just things that I just look at them and it's the optics, Bhoycie, as you like to say. It's the optics. Do you know what I mean? You see something and you don't like the look of it, and you can imagine.
You dare use my own spells on me, Potter.
You just imagine it's going to taste like something. I suppose it's like a bird. It's supposed to be like a bird. If you're out in a bar one night and you look at a bird and you don't like the look of her, you're not going to taste her, are you? I just looked at a cabbage and thought, that just looks disgusting. There's no way I'm eating that. A Brussels sprout. I've never ate a Brussels sprout, have you?
I would have been forced to try one when I was young. I don't think I liked it. But I mean, like,
get it back onto Celtic. What are we going to do with this Celtic team? What's going to happen on Wednesday night?
Well, do you know what? It's another opportunity though to just spin the optics or the narrative completely back around. It's just such a great opportunity to do that. If we were to get something from that game, tell you one thing as well. Just on the it's a wee bit of background noise to it all. What did you make of the Simeone Rodgers handshake thing at the end? He was a bit of a dick, was he not? Did you see it? I thought that was really. That's the Simeone that got the Beckham red card. I just wonder as well. The one thing with Brendan is right. I think he's better. I think a lot of people are in sport when they get wound up. When you give them a reason to be, it just matters that bit more. I think it was a stupid thing by Simeone. He should have nothing but respect for the team that he came up against and the way the manager deployed the team. Love to see Simeone do it with the options that Rodgers had on Wednesday compared against the team with the riches that his did. I thought it was stupid doing that at the end. I just wonder if it adds a wee bit of needle to it. Could that work in our favour at all? I think it can always help inspire people when you want to get one over someone as being part of the reason. I'm not saying the whole reason to beat them. There's obviously a massive task at hand here. But I just think sometimes these wee ingredients getting added to it, they can be a good thing.
I didn't see it live because the exact minute the final whistle went, I ran down to my shed and logged on to come on to get stood up by you. But I did see it back, and I just thought it was completely disrespectful. There was nothing that happened in that game. There was nothing went on in the technical areas. There was nothing that happened on the pitch for him to be disrespectful like that. I think he was just a twat. I do like him. I do like his antics. I love watching him. I love the passion that he has. I actually loved the way he was trying to get Griezmann to get up whenever he went down far too easily. I don't know what's gone through his head. He's probably regretted it afterwards, to be honest. And they've probably had a chat afterwards and cleared the air and everything. I just thought it just looked a wee bit fucking school playground.
It's still been done though. Once it's been done, it's done.
It's been done. It's been done in full view of everyone, and I don't think Rodgers will forget it. Does it have any bearing on the game in 10 days' time? That's going to be a tough.
That's not quite what I'm saying. Let's pose it in a way. What I'm trying to get across is, does it give that wee extra bit of motivation? Not that they should need it, and I get all that. But I just sometimes think when there's some sort of personal beef or something like that, a different backdrop, I think it can shift minds or refocus them a wee bit. No?
For who? The manager?
Is everyone just a fucking square these days? Doesn't get bothered by anything. I'm fucking sick of this.
What are you trying to say to me? The manager
I would rather be getting
the game in 10 days than he was.
Well, he might just go, fuck him. I don't know. It could motivate you a wee bit more to make sure you get the best master plan out there. I'm just like a professional now.
His
fucking hate professionals. Sick of them.
Team are just a mirror image of him, aren't they? Really though. They're the absolute masters of the dark arts. And see, even that penalty the other night, I felt it was soft, but I also thought, what on earth did Taylor think was going to happen if he put his foot in there? They just played for opportunities like that. They're just so good at maximizing every single situation to get the outcome that works best for them, and that all comes from the manager. I think he's an excellent manager. I think he can come across as a cock at times. I think he came across as a cock at the end of that game.
It was a wanker move, mate. It was. And you know what? He's lucky that he's Brendan Rodgers and he's not this man.
I think it was. I think it would have been a Lennon Ali McCoist moment again, wouldn't it? If
Lenny would have had him. Whose hand do you know shaking? Bring back those days when you had characters like that. Martin O'Neill would have just took his hand back down. He wouldn't have left it out that long. O'Neill would have walked away.
I thought it was a bit shitty. It was poor, given that it was a really, really good game, which our team who let us down today, I thought they were absolutely brilliant on Wednesday night.
Yep.
Yes, we didn't get the win.
Yep.
That is one of the best teams we've played against. And I thought they were really good in the sort of probably from the hour mark until the guy gets sent off. I thought that was their period of real dominance where you could see the class of them. And that's why the manager then made the change to try and make sure that we didn't lose the game. Then we had a wee bit of a surge whenever they got the man sent off, but they're a class team. And it wasn't like the Real Madrid game where we were in it for 50 minutes and then we got stuffed 3-0. This game, we were in it for the whole game. We got a draw against an excellent side.
Yep.
And whilst a draw was probably a fair enough result, I felt if anyone deserved to win it was Celtic.
Yep. And the thing was,
it's just amazing how you can go from that performance. Was it 3 days ago, 3.5 days ago, to that one today? How can those two things happen within 3.5 days of each other? Yeah,
that's a good point. Fuck knows. It's a weird one. I mean, I think in terms of what Celtic did midweek, I think the bench is again, you go back to it, but I think people talk about Atletico Madrid having 30 million players that can bring on things like this. I understand. But that's like for them. That's their equivalent of like for like. See if Celtic had like for like subs to have brought on, we would have been still within reason in control of our own destiny in that game. You are unfortunately making your life more difficult when your subs that are coming on because out of necessity, because guys are dead on their feet, are just not up to the standard of the one that they're replacing. That's the big difference.
Started the game with 3 World Cup winners. They brought on a sub who was a World Cup winner. That's all you need to say about that.
Pam's gifting out Bhoycie Bus
members. A sub who had won the World Cup, Bhoycie. That's where you're at.
I get that. I get, but it's horses for courses as well. A lot of the time, that is still like for like in terms of standard. We are dropping off massively when we bring on a sub at this moment in time. From our standard.
My question's the same one, Bhoycie. My question's the same one to you as it was 20 minutes ago, 25 minutes ago. What happens next? What happens in January? What happens next summer? Do we keep going with this fucking really annoying process where we just keep bringing in these guys who might make it or might not? Or what happens? Do we go and get absolute proven quality? Or is this just the way it's going to be for the rest of you and my Celtic supporting lives, where we bring in players who might make it and some of them might
2
not?
seconds, Terry, mate.
What are you doing?
I'm hiding for 2 seconds, mate.
You ordering somebody a kebab? Absolutely no idea where he's gone or what he's doing. So just while he's away, this wee Brendan Rodgers photo is one that I got from the Celtic shop, and I had to take it down after he abandoned ship, and then I was in 2 minds what to do with it, but I hung on to it anyway. And obviously, then
I wondered, has that always been there? I was thinking, I've only just noticed he's got Brendan Rodgers behind him, and I was like,
I had it in a different position.
That must have always been there.
I had it in a different position, and then when he came back, I brought it into view for the old camera.
I see. Right, okay, we're going to wrap it up. That was me getting a wee phone call, so it's time to rock and roll. Terry, before we go, though, it's judgment time for you, mate. Are you going to go with Thunderbird? Are you going to go with Blue Wicked? Are you going to go with Baby Sham? Malibu? Chocolate Milk and Buckfast? Mad Dog 2020, Eggnog, Super Lager, Pernod and Blackcurrant, Frosty Jacks and Blackcurrant, Special Brew and Aspirin, El Dorado Tonic, or Cider Pernod and Blackcurrant, which is apparently a Red Witch.
Chocolate Milk and Buckfast.
Yes! So, Timmy Bing! Well done, mate. Timmy Bing, you have won yourself a large mixed kebab, whatever kind of kebab you want, just send me the order. My email address, I will pop in the new because it's just my backup email address. Anyway, I will put it in the now. But yes, drop me an email with your address and your order, and I will get you a Just Eat sent out this evening. Dinner is on the bus. That's how we do it, Terry, innit? That's how you make up for a bad result, mate. That's how we roll, mate. Get some scram on the bus.
Over it already.
Right. Timmy Bing, get in touch. He's buzzing. He's saying, yes, well done, mate. Aye, you're more than welcome. crookedarm@ymail.com. How's it a fix? Why are they saying it's a fix? What the fuck could it be a fix? A fix? It's a fix. I give up. Right, okay. I'm going to get up to some nonsense. Terry, enjoy your Saturday night. Everyone in the live show, it's fine. We're still top of the table.
See you there.
As always, I'll say, keep your eyes on this board. Good night.